We had one of our correctional officers that got nauseous. She got real flushed, and everyone was saying, you can smell gas, you can smell gas. That night, our nurse came in, Miss Montgomery, and she said, I don't know what to do. I can smell the gas. You can smell it as soon as you walk in the building. It's really bad up here. We kept complaining. Nothing was said. Nobody acted concerned. COs were complaining. Nobody acted concerned. That night, we had just got bunked down for the night. As a pod, we said a prayer together. Just laid down, and next thing you know, it was kaboom. It sounded like it sounded like the roof fell in. The lights and all the power from the generators automatically went out, and for a second, it looked like the roof had caved in because it had been leaking from raining all day. But then the smoke was the thick white, like chemical smoke, you couldn't breathe. Our CO was in shock. It took her like 5 minutes before she even responded and gave us directions of what to do. They ran all of us down. We had the 4 East is the only female pod where we actually had the explosion that came through from the bottom floor, from the basement or the first floor. And our wall, the whole side of the wall by our door, the bricks, everything, the whole wall exploded. And we had to go out that way. They took all the females through the west side of the 4th floor down one stairwell. We got one flight down, and all the men were coming out at the same time. The men really got hurt. As I was going down, I had three of the women that I had helped bring out that were hysterically just in shock and crying. I was trying to get my personal belongings together, and I threw them all on the bed because I was more concerned that it was going to explode again and we weren't going to make it because we were on the 4th floor and everything was already, the windows were shattered, the floor was done, the foundation was bent. You could feel the whole building had sunk in. So we were more concerned. There was a couple of us girls that kind of held it together to get everybody out. There's a few of the girls that are in here with me in Santa Rosa. The 4 East is the only female block that actually had the explosion happen in the block. The other ones got the smoke and the gas inhalation from the explosion, but we actually got the explosion. We got down the stairs. As I was going down, they had a guy coming out on a makeshift stretcher that inmates were carrying. There was no CO. The CO, I guess, was still inside. The inmates were coming out, carrying a guy on a makeshift stretcher. Another guy come out, and half of his face was flipped up. The skin, like the meat, everything was flipped up. I let go of the girls, and me and another female inmate, I don't even know who she was, we grabbed the guy and we carried him down the rest of the stairs. There was another guy, once we got out the door, couldn't walk. It looked like his foot was crushed. We carried him to the curb. They were sitting all the injured people on the curb waiting for emergency medical care. They had all of us inmates outside in the parking lot across the street from the jail. Fire trucks, ambulances, everything was there. But they tried, it was like we were the bad guys. They come out with K9s, shotgun, screaming, yelling, carrying on, and all of the inmates, to me, I feel the inmates work together better with each other of getting everybody out. We helped get the injured out. We helped make sure the floors were cleared. The COs were freaking out. They were no help. There was a lot of COs that got injured, and they were the ones that were concerned. Everybody else was kind of just standing, not knowing what to do. And they finally got us outside. We stood outside for 2 hours in the parking lot, so they figured out what they were doing. At first, they crammed all the male inmates into the old...
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
They crammed all of the male inmates into the old jail, and they loaded the female inmates on city buses that they put out of service and moved us to Santa Rosa. When we got to Santa Rosa, we came here with nothing. All of our personal belongings, stuff that couldn't be, pictures, everything is in Escambia jail. They're saying our property's damaged and gone. Everything is gone. We came here with nothing, and Escambia is just, I don't know, they're treating us like we're in a concentration camp. Like, okay, they're in Santa Rosa, we're not concerned now. And Santa Rosa is really very cooperating. They're being very nice. They're trying to give us whatever personal hygiene supplies they can. Help us where they're letting us order commissary orders, even though it's past time of their regular schedule. They're being really, they're trying to make us as comfortable as possible considering what we went through.
So what did everybody think happened right when it happened? I mean, were people saying, "Oh, it's a gas explosion," or were they just not sure?
Well, they had generators, the big diesel truck generators, plugged into the building, I guess, for the air and running the power off. And there was a gas leak. You could smell the gas early that morning. I mean, you could smell the gas from everywhere. And I don't know, we seen a spark when the explosion, right when the explosion happened, you could see a spark from outside. I don't know if the generator sparked it and it caused the gas to go ahead and explode up, but I feel that one of our correctional officers opened our pair yard doors so we could have fresh air after we sat in there all day complaining of headaches and the gas smell and being hot and couldn't breathe. She finally opened the door so we could get fresh air. And I feel that if she wouldn't have opened that door and the gas would have stayed in there like it was and that explosion happened, we might not have survived.
Now,
and it's like their main concern was just sticking us somewhere else. And nobody's, people that had to go to court, since we've been and this happened, haven't went to court. They don't know. People can't even get bonded out because of Escambia County is not letting Santa Rosa know what to do with any of us. It's just pretty much we're here and that's what it is.
Now, the generators, were they working because of the flooding from the bad weather from earlier in the week, or what?
From the flooding, the night that the storms hit real bad and we flooded, we lost power at about 2 o'clock in the morning. And they ran on the generators ever since that.
Okay.
And they told us the basement...
This call is from the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, go ahead.
They told us the basement was flooded close, almost like a foot from the ceiling. And that day when it flooded and we lost the power, they gave sandwiches twice that day. They were not prepared for any type of emergency situation. Even the flooding, I don't care what they say, they were not prepared. We had no water. They brought drinking water up once that day, and they had to pour it out because it had something in it. They it was like they didn't know what to do. They had us on the 4th floor with everyone complaining of gas leaks. The guy inmates even said it outside after the explosion happened. They said they complained all day of smelling gas. Inmates on all floors and correctional officers complained of gas leak and a gas smell. I mean, you could smell it. It was like we were in the room with a propane tank. You could smell it. And it was like it was nothing. And then once the explosion happened and we were all outside, there was a few of the correctional officers and the nurse that came on that night that said, we told them we smelt the gas when we got here.
Matt, tell me your story. Now, why are you in there?
I violated probation. I moved to change my address, and they said I didn't notify them in time, so they violated my probation. I moved to Alabama and started life over after a domestic violence situation, and they violated my probation because they said I didn't change my address within Escambia County's time frame of whatever. And that's why I'm sitting here. No violent charges, no drug charges, and it's a technical violation of probation. And now they're saying I was supposed to go to court the 21st. There was girls that go to court. They're supposed to go to court yesterday. They go to court next week. They're saying they don't know when we're going to get to go to court. They don't know what's going to happen to us. They don't even know if we're going to actually stay in Santa Rosa permanently until we can get released. Because they've already said Escambia County Jail both parts of it has completely closed and shut down for inmates.
Okay, so you're kind of in a no man's land right now, just...
Yes, we are honestly in a no man's land, and we have none of our personal stuff. And, we had ordered commissary at Escambia County, and when I spoke with my fiance, the money for the orders were taken out off the credit cards, but we're not there to receive any of our stuff, but they took our money this week. And we're sitting here going without anything. I mean, no shampoo, no nothing. It's all there of what we had, and then they took our money for what we were ordering, the orders that went through last night, but yet they're not canceling it, they're not replacing it, they're not just like we're here, and that's it. If it wasn't for Santa Rosa County, we would really be without anything, and they're giving it where we have free phone calls to call our family because of where we're just like laying in the system somewhere.
So is that what a lot of people are doing right now? They're trying to get in touch with family members to let them know that they're okay?
Right. Yes, sir. Yesterday was the first time since it happened that we got to talk to family and let them know we were alive.
Okay.
They had no idea. They were calling Escambia County, and Escambia County was not telling them anything, so they couldn't tell them anything. They didn't know where we were, if we were alive, if we were okay. They weren't telling them anything. All they could say was, we can't release no information. And then they started putting a list on a website saying that we were okay and that everyone was accounted for. But that didn't happen until yesterday.
Okay. So do you expect...
and it's scary because... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you finished that.
Oh, yeah, it's just scary for the fact that the women in 4 East and the men in 2 and 3 East, those are the ones in the ACR. It was like a straight line. It came up, they said, from the first floor and came straight up the east side of the building. And to know that we really could, we all could be dead. For one, from smelling the gas and being locked in a closed thing with it all day until we finally got an officer that was willing to open the door for us for the air to come through. And then for the fact that if we wouldn't have worked together, the inmates is what got us out of there. Not the correctional officers, the inmates worked together. We looked out for each other. We got each other out of there, the men and the women. The men were coming out and blocked for the women to come down the stairs. I mean, we worked together and got ourselves out of there and saved each other's lives, not without the help of anybody in Escambia County.
Now, do you expect some kind of action?
And now it's like we're just here. We're stuck in, and it's scary. It really is, because now everybody's going to have to deal with the repercussions of this, of injuries and mental trauma and everything that's going to hit after we're not incarcerated anymore, because we can't seem to get no answers for anything right now. Santa Rosa is the only positive official influence that we have